Hey there. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Esteban Hours Weekend Review. This week's special on current events and breaking news from last week. First of all, how you been? How has your weekend been? Happy Father's Day to all of the awesome fathers out there. I hope you had a great Father's Day. I certainly did. I got the chance to spend some time with my kids, and really take that quality time in with them. It is definitely something not to take for granted. Um, and then we celebrated the third national Juneteenth holiday yesterday. Um, Everybody was off, or everything was closed. Schools, banks were closed for the Juneteenth holiday. So hopefully everyone got some art and able to reflect on what Juneteenth means to you. Okay. So really quick, doing a recap of what we're going to discuss today. Um, Certain different topics today. Not all politics, thank God, right? Not all politics. So we have um, we're gonna be talking about kids today, teenagers today. Um, they are having less sex than they used to, or I should say, than 20 years ago. They are drinking less alcohol and doing less partying than they did 20 years ago. Then we have this gas stove bill um, situation. I'll leave it at that. Um, Bud Light and Target, they're bans. We're gonna discuss that. How about a right wing pastor who suggests his followers become suicide bombers? I mean, you can't make this stuff up at all. And this is a pastor, mind you, okay, not just someone right off the street. Um, then we're going to discuss a little bit on Fox News. They are um, they are addressing Biden as a dictator. Then we have George Santos is in the news again, and he's talking about integrity. I mean, okay, so um, um, I just can't. So we have an inspiring story that we're going to discuss a little bit about, and this is about a pregnant woman. I believe was driving a bus full of kids before it catches on fire, and so we're gonna weigh in on that a little bit. Very inspiring story. And a couple of other things that we might get into if we have time. But before we do that, let's bring in my co host, Mr. Jeremy Baker. Hey, Jeremy.
What's up, man? Oh, I am ready to go. Oh, no, take it off of that view. Take it off of that view. There we go. I don't like that one. It makes my face too big. I can't do that. My face is big enough as it is. No, hey, man, a lot going on this week. It's hard to narrow it down to just a few topics to talk about
It is. It
with
is.
everything that's going on. It's madness out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's just get right into it. So,
Let's do that.
um, topic number one: teenagers today are not as sexual or sexualized as they were years ago. What could be causing that? What do you think?
I think honestly, let me pull up the article because I wanted to read out of the second paragraph there, and hopefully you guys can see me highlight this. But it actually says that People that are not having any sexual activity between 2009 and 2018 has actually gone up from 28% to 44%. And that includes all types of sexual activity, not just like straight sex. It's not
Right.
categorized. It's literally
Right.
all. But it even ranges. It's not just teenagers. It's actually people from ages 40 or 14 to 49 are actually having less sex. I can verify that I've been having a lot less sex. So that maybe is true. I find this ironic though, because I found another study that said, and you're going to laugh, penis sizes now are 20% bigger than they were 20 years ago, which pisses me off if I could have been born 20 years later. But
Mhm.
anyway, but yeah, now kids are having less sex at the same time. So I don't know. I think it's honestly, I think it's porn, online porn. I mean, there's some crazy stuff out there. Like back when we were having sex, when we first, I know the first time I had sex, I had basically very little to no knowledge of what the hell I was doing. Okay, I had the sex education class version of sex, as a teenager, man, and we fumbled our way through it. And a lot of it, I mean, I think a lot of us had sex just because we thought we were supposed to. But now, when you look online, I mean, depending on what you put in the search bar, and I'm probably giving away too much now because it kind of shows that I watch online porn, but
I think
there's weird shit online. I mean, there really is.
I really think that it has something to do with the pandemic, um, being that more people have been inside. And you may think, well, don't you think that should, bring more sex? I think the mindsets are a little different today, because of the pandemic. People are thinking differently, doing things differently, changing things from that aspect, as well as video games. I believe the video game atmosphere is so high today. The video games are so advanced than they were 20 years ago. Many people sit on them out for hours and hours and hours and hours, and that's not just teenagers. That is adults as well. Many adult children in their 30s, 40s who are playing video games all day or all night. And I think a little bit of all of that has added to the fact that the sex rate is down. And not only that the sex rate is down, I believe that I recently read that childbirth, births happening have decreased in the United States as well.
That yeah, man, yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it, people don't realize it, but a lot of some of the decrease, at least in birth rates and people not getting pregnant, has to do with these extreme abortion laws too. That does play a factor in people accidentally getting pregnant, and then you can't have an abortion. I mean, that's terrifying in itself to not have a choice.
Yeah.
So I think fear does play a part into it, especially in our current society. Plus,
May,
kids are smart. I mean, kids see reality of what's going on in our country, and honestly, right now is not a good time to bring a kid into this world. It's just not. It's a mess.
well, there was an
It
article
really is.
that I had read that basically that's exactly what many were saying. If I'm not allowed to have an abortion, then I'm just not going to have any children at all. You've got men and women um, doing surgical procedures now to
Hmm.
prevent them from having babies because of what's going on
Yep.
around
History.
the country concerning abortion and these 6-week bans. And then you have many more teenagers that are looking around, like many more Gen Zs that are looking on the outside and seeing um, what the world is about, what the country is about, and they don't like it, and don't want to bring a kid into this atmosphere.
It's it's a terrifying place right now, and especially when you see that they're constantly trying to cut support I mean,
right.
we can't even give free lunches in this country for kids in schools right now. You know what I mean? That should tell you everything you need to know
And
about the current environment.
the poverty aspect
Mm,
continues to remain low. In fact, the you can arguably say there may not be much of a middle class anymore, or we're heading in a direction that there's no middle class. You're either rich or you're poor, and because of many who feel they're on the poor side, they refuse to bring in a child to experience the same type of poverty that they are, especially when there's many on a specific political side that does not seem to care to be able to, you know, give those opportunities or have those opportunities out there for everybody to be able to step up on that ladder. Therefore, many individuals are thinking of themselves and saying,
mhm.
no, I've got to support myself. I've got to do for myself, and I cannot afford to bring in a kid into this world.
I'm actually proud of the younger generation for this because my generation, whew, God, I mean, that's all we wanted to do was get laid. You know what I mean? When we were younger. I mean, it was true. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have any way to research any of this stuff, and I mean, we didn't. We were just ignorant.
Right.
So we're younger, but so I'm actually impressed that the younger kids are taking sex seriously for a change because we did not. And the young, you know what I mean? We definitely did not take sex seriously when I was growing up. So the fact that the
Also,
kids are is good. That's a good thing. It is.
also with drugs and alcohol,
That's a
uh,
really good thing.
teenagers are
That
drinking less.
that's great. That is great. I don't drink. I used to have my own issues with substances. So I have my own personal story with that, and I'm very happy to hear that kids are not going down that road because it is a very dark and lonely place that could kill you. I mean, it's the reality of it.
Hearing
There's
it
no
from
joy.
this Jeremy Baker.
There's no good path going down that road.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And you know my philosophy. I'm just I won't say it on the show. I'm just all right. I'll say it. I'm just a stoner. I'm a cannabis guy. That's my preference. But yeah, alcohol
To each their
finally being
own.
taken seriously. You know what I mean? 7 people die a day from alcohol poisoning. Just alcohol poisoning. 7 people die a day. So, and I've seen people that have come off, like alcoholics, come off of alcohol. I mean, people really don't realize it, but if you become physically addicted to alcohol, the withdrawals can kill you. That's why they tell you if you're withdrawing from alcohol, do not do it alone because you can have seizures. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of bad things that can happen, and kids are starting to take this stuff seriously. And the same with drugs. There's really no path to happiness down using drugs. It's all misery in the end.
Yeah. And hopefully this new generation is abstaining or um, um, taking more time before they actually go down that path, because they see that there's no green light on the other side. There's no good, if you will, to drinking excessively, alcoholism, to having babies at a young age, and um, you don't know how you're going to afford to take care of them, or you lean towards the government to do that, and without without caring about it. So I hope that it's because of that, and it's not for any other psychological or mental reason that would, I guess, manifest itself, in the next
Mm,
generation.
right. So I mean, it's good, but the newer generations are more well informed than we ever were. They
Well,
have
yeah,
access to so much
they
more information than we do.
have
I
access to
mean,
so much more information, right? Right. We
so
have to go to the library and sit there for hours and hours in order to find out what today's generation can find out in 5 minutes.
but see that goes to show you that learning and having the ability to learn information like this is a good thing. It's causing kids to take sex seriously. It's causing kids to use less drugs. I mean, the value of information is, I mean, unmeasurable if you get it from the right place. Obviously, if you get your information from the wrong place, it could do some damage. But kids are well informed and they have access to more information in 5 minutes, like you said, than we did in a month or a year. I mean, we were ignorant growing up. I realize that now. Whew,
Okay.
were we ever?
We have here situation with Bud Light and Target. What do we have here to play?
You want me to play it? We've got
Okay,
something
I
really
got it.
good for
Target
this one.
holding an emergency meeting over its controversial Pride merchandise. The
Now here it
damage
goes.
control mode coming as it desperately tries to avoid a so-called Bud Light situation.
Of
A
course, it's
Target
gonna
insider
glitch now.
It's okay. So we got this. We have this. I guess it falls under a little bit of politics. Target selling merchandise in regards to the LGBTQ plus community, and I think there was maybe a little bit of an uproar over it, and so they took it out of their stores. Do you agree with that?
Um, I mean, with Bud Light, the way I see it, I mean, I don't have any problems promoting trans rights or LGBTQ. I think that's a great thing. Everybody should be able to, be themselves. However, who did Bud Light think was drinking their beer? Like, did they really think it was a bunch of progressive, affluent LGBTQ community people? I mean, they kind of missed the mark on that one just because I don't think a lot of, progressive people, I'm saying, they kind of missed that one a little bit. Who do they think? And I mean, and then because of that, Target freaked out. Not only did they move their display to the back, they made it smaller and harder to find. And but that the bans, unfortunately, due to ignorance and hate, actually worked, um, which is actually quite unbelievable. They actually lost quite a bit of money. Let me see if I actually have that. I can. Oh, here we go. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. I got an article from the Western Standard I can pull up real quick
Go ahead.
if it'll let
Share it
me.
with us. Yeah.
Nope, it's not gonna let me pull it up. Of course. But no, they're losing market capital because of these bans of these ignorant people. So, and keep in mind these are the same people that are shooting the cans and going into stores and smashing them on the ground. But there's a lot of them.
My
There's a lot
thing
of
is
those
that
people.
why, I guess it's a business uh um a financial deal, or I forget the word I'm looking for. But why is it that some of these companies are so quick to remove merchandise just based on a group of people, or a group um protesting against something?
As soon as they start losing money, that's when they panic. They're supportive. They're supportive, all right, until it affects their bottom line, and then they're no longer supportive, or they're less supportive than they used to be. You know what I mean? First they're loud and proud, and then they're kind of like, well, that's affecting our budget, so we got to get rid of that. I mean, it's the way these corporations work. You know what I mean? But a lot of other companies are coming out in support of the LGBTQ community too. So I think it's going to be more of the norm. They should have weathered the storm and said "f you" to these idiots. I
Right.
think, like we always say, grow some balls, metaphorically or physically. You should have weathered the storm. Tell these idiots, look, we don't care what you think. We're trying to change things, and they could have really made a statement with this. Instead, they showed they're cowards, and all they're worried about is their money.
But
So
I
I'm
guess if I play devil's advocate, I have to understand your pocket sometimes controls everything, right? Your investors may be more important, or just as important as your customers, and it may not be worth tearing down a great percentage of your profit, of your revenue, over an item or a justification of a protest. So it's just better financially to just get rid of it and move on.
But what I don't understand, it's not like they knew that this wasn't a heated topic at the moment. You
Right.
know what I mean? Before they put it up, they knew it was going to cause backlash, and they put it up anyway. And then the backlash came, and they took it down. So
I
I mean,
mean,
but it wasn't like they didn't know what they were getting into.
I can't say I would be. I'm mad at them for that as well. It is a touchy subject that half the country is for and half the country is against. So, in defense of them, I would probably say they did that to say, we have a right to sell what we want to sell. We're not trying to step on anyone's toes, but let's sell it. And in the event somebody has a problem with it, then we'll rethink that selling structure at that time. That's probably what they've done, even though they
Oh yeah,
know that it could be controversial.
I mean, Bud Light took a hell of a hit off of those bans from all these crazy Bud Light drinkers.
Is it true
I
that
just keep
they are no
picturing people with
longer
kegs of beer at a
America's number one beer?
what Bud Light.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I just when I hear Bud Light, I just picture a bunch of dudes with no shirts on around a campfire with doing keg stands and throwing up on the woods. I mean, that's you know what I mean. Wrong market. Wrong market. I mean, the transgender community could have picked a different sponsor than Bud Light. I mean, really.
And because I was gonna say, I'm sure Bud Light is popular everywhere and
Oh
in
yeah.
every state, whether it's red or blue. But for me, I don't really know many places where it's that's what everyone drinks. I know more of people that drink other brands like Corona or Heineken,
Yeah, they
or
imports
Modelo.
or microbrews,
Mhm.
those kind of things.
Right, right. Or even Budweiser.
But these beer drinkers, man, they're dedicated to their beer. They will not go to another one. You know what I mean? So they felt betrayed, apparently. I mean, assholes, bunch of
Stop
knuckleheads,
it.
man. They're idiots. They're all idiots out there,
They
man. I
can
can't believe
feel
people are making such a
betrayed.
big deal out of this stuff, though.
They can feel
Seriously,
betrayed if they want to.
they can. I don't care. I don't feel sorry for them. Their closed-mindedness annoys me, so I have no problem making fun of them. I don't. Sorry, that's just me.
Okay. So moving on. We have in the news cycle this right-wing pastor.
Oh God, this makes me sick to my stomach.
It's bad. It's awful. It's awful. And what makes it even worse for me is the word pastor. There's just no words that now people have a morbid sense of a morbid sense of the different definition of the word pastor, just like they do of the word patriot.
I know.
um
Oh my God, yeah, that bothers me to no end when Trump supporters. Oh man, I said his name when they misuse the word patriot. That really bothers me. And the same thing with when a pastor does something like this. I mean, you're supposed to be preaching the word of God and the
yeah,
Bible and all that stuff, not right wing extremist political views. And telling your congregation the reason they should be strapping bombs to their chests
yeah.
and become
Basically,
suicide bombers. I mean, see
preaching violence in what's supposed to be God's house.
here. Can I
Can
see
it
if the
get
video
any
works on my
more
end?
screwed up than that?
Let me see
But
if the video works on my end
go ahead.
and just give people a taste of this. Please
Why
look.
the Muslim faith has had its advancements is because
Of course,
the Muslims were willing
you'll still get the
to
point.
die for their belief. They were willing to strap
Why
bombs
does it do this?
to their chest. They
You get the point.
Well, I mean, just even in that video, just look at his face. You see the anger on his face. You see the displeasure. the frustration on his face. But isn't this supposed to be a church?
Supposed to be, I thought, yeah. But this is the stuff that gives Christianity a bad name. And I mean, well, not gives. I mean, Christianity has had a bad name for quite a bit of history. Now, and I'm not saying anything bad against Christians, because I know a lot of good people that they have their faith. I think faith is important in life.
I get what you're saying, and I'm sure the audience gets what you're saying.
Mm,
Whether it's Christianity, he was just talking about the Muslim faith. Um,
yeah, yeah,
it's preaching hate. It's preaching. So it makes me think, what Bible are you preaching from? You
yeah.
know,
They're writing their new Bible. They're writing their
what
own version of it.
laws? Yeah, where are you getting this from? It
Yeah, word
cannot
the
be.
Bible.
It cannot be the same Bible that I read. Um,
mm, I'm,
um, and there are
I'm,
multiple different versions of the Bible. I have not read in any Bible where it says to become a suicide bomber, where it
yeah.
puts down one religion or over another.
I'm pretty sure in the Muslim faith or Christianity, I've never read the Bible through all the way, and I've never read the Quran, but I'm pretty sure in either one does it say that you should strap a bomb to your chest and kill people. I'm
Right.
pretty sure it doesn't say that. But this is what they preach, and their followers are, oh yeah, praise Jesus. No, that's not real. That's Christian nationalism right there. That's not
It's
Christianity.
it's
There's a difference.
blasphemy. It's blasphemy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, and I think faith is important, and people need to be able to believe in things to make them feel better about life. But
Absolutely.
this
Hope.
this is a pastor abusing his authority, abusing his power, abusing the people's trust, and preaching hate every week.
You know he's not the only one, right?
No, there's a lot out there. I found quite a few that are doing this actually. It's not just one. There's a bunch of them out there.
And it's just sad that there are many folks out there that are sucking that crap in, and really believing that. So you go to Sunday church, where you're supposed to learn about loving thy neighbor and doing good deeds and good works, and instead you're being encouraged to become a suicide bomber, or you're being encouraged to find some kind of hate towards your fellow man who may look different than you, who may be in a different religion, who may speak differently, who may live
Mhm.
differently. You're being encouraged in your place of worship to downgrade them in some way. It's really, really sad.
And then these people take that stuff out of the church and
Yes,
put it out into the world.
yes.
They take that momentum, whatever that guy said, those ideas, and they take it right out into the world where the rest of us are now living. And that's dangerous, because some of
It's
these
very
people
dangerous.
actually do these things they're told to do. Some people do these things. You know what I mean? They
I
listen to
mean,
somebody that,
look, perfect example with what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community, where they're bashing gays and trans and bisexuals, and then you've got people that will go out and act on that, right?
yeah, exactly.
Shooting up clubs and schools and all kinds of places, because their belief that they have been told is, they are wrong, they are bad. We are put here to get rid of them. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. No, you aren't.
Not
There
at
is only
all.
one God, and there should only be one jury. And if what they're doing is deemed wrong, then that should only be judged by the supreme being, which is God, not by fellow imperfect human beings as ourselves. I I just I
Yeah,
just can't. I just, you've
I
got people that go out there and preach about what others should not be doing, and then they go home and they do bad things on their own. And that's because we're all imperfect. So we're all, liable to do something that is not correct. How do you put someone else down for the incorrect activity that they may be engaging in. Meanwhile, you have your own.
Hmm.
Um,
I find a lot of hate in this country is things people hate about themselves, like people that hate gay people. Maybe they, maybe a lot of them maybe have tendencies towards men, or they've seen men and been attracted to them, and they don't like that about themselves. Like, yeah, you always hear the word projection. That's what that is. You know what I mean? Somebody sees a pretty trans woman. I mean, I've seen some trans women. I was like, damn, you know what I mean? And they go, oh, she's hot, and then you find out she's trans, and you're like, oh my god, you know what I mean? And now you hate trans people because you were attracted for a split second to a trans person. That's how the mind. That's how people's minds work when it comes to hate. A lot of it is their own hate for themselves, but instead of hating themselves and figuring out what's wrong with themselves, like I have to do, they project that on other people and keep that hate going. You know what I mean? But there is a way to get past it, but people don't try. They don't try to acknowledge that they're, like you said, people are flawed.
that's because they don't want to get past it. They
Right.
either wanna end it, or they want to continue with the conflict over it, but they refuse to get past it. And I just think it's wrong. You got billions of people living in the world, sharing the earth together. You will never, ever, ever have all the billions of people serving one religion, or looking one way, or acting one way, or eating one food. There's going to
Hmm.
be diversity forever. So why are some folks trying to stop that when
Hmm.
you can't? I
These are the same people that call themselves patriots, by the way. The same ones that misinterpret these things.
misinterpretation and of the word patriot. It infuriates me. It infuriates me.
It
Of
does.
what that word has, the meaning of that word has become to some Americans. Basically,
Well,
for me, I feel like, so if I'm not a liar, I'm not a patriot. If I'm not willing to worship a man, I'm not a patriot. If I'm not willing to give my hard-earned money to a billionaire, I'm
hmm,
not a patriot. If
I
I'm
hate that.
not willing to break down the Capitol building, I'm not a patriot. If I'm not willing to lie for my president or anybody in leadership, I'm not a
Right.
patriot. It's ridiculous.
It really is. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's we'll move on from there. That
Okay.
was well said.
Okay.
All right, I'll say it makes me mad that they've turned the word. I won't say his name, but that side has turned patriot and the American flag into almost a symbol of hate. Like now, almost when you see the American flag, it almost pisses you off sometimes. You know what I mean? It's been turned into this. It was supposed to represent freedom and opportunity and a better life, and now I don't know what it represents. That's why the
But
flag
that's
behind me hangs upside down.
that is why there are some folks who years back have decided they were not going to pledge their allegiance, or they were going to take a seat, or kneel, to reflect that they do not see America's values being the way that they were meant to be, with our freedoms, with diversity, with love for all. And so they feel like, why should I pledge my allegiance to a flag or to a government that is not trying to incorporate equality for all, justice for all, which is what the a Pledge of Allegiance is all about. But more and more these days are not feeling that they're getting that justice, and it's in more ways than one. Whether it's police brutality,
Mm,
financial aspects, gas prices, the economy. they're not feeling that they're getting the equal standards that more of the wealthy individuals are getting. So why should I salute for? And this brings me to another thought. Have you heard the military rate of those joining the military is down? And
Hmm.
I believe, in my opinion, it's because as the years are going on, we're turning back time. Okay, in Congress with the Republicans, many do not feel like their country is worth fighting for, and that's going to get us into big trouble in the
Hmm.
future if we're
Well,
ever threatened by another country.
yeah,
Because
if that does happen, that's when the government reinstates the draft and you go involuntarily fight for something you don't want to fight for. And I agree with it. I mean, why would you join the military right now with the way the world is? I mean, the whole world is literally a powder keg right now, just waiting for a spark to go off.
right,
And why would I mean? Some people like I wanted to serve my country when I got out of the military, or got out of high school, and some people are like that. But I was trying to follow my dad's footsteps. But I mean, if the average kid, they're not going to be like, let's go in the military anyway. It's not.
right.
It's yeah.
Look at even our justice system. This entire case with the former president is a joke and a mockery of the entire justice system. Now,
It is.
why do I say that? It's not because in my opinion, that they're doing something bad or wrong. They're doing their job, I guess, to the best of their capabilities. But I say that because, again, it seems as though every time there's a charge against this former president, we have to sit back and ask, well, do you want to bring charges or not? But if you or I did the exact same thing, there is no question. There's going to be charges brought up against you. Find yourself a lawyer.
Exactly.
That's it.
If I went on a White House tour and I stole something from the gift shop, assuming they have a gift shop, I would be in jail. You know what I mean? That's
Immediately,
just plain and simple.
immediately. You've got folks
Exactly.
that are saying, "Don't forget it. You're innocent until proven guilty." But many in the lower tiers, many from the poor neighborhoods, they're guilty before proven innocent.
Oh,
So
always.
you
I
know,
actually
folks
wrote a
that,
chapter in my book called "Guilty Until Proven Otherwise," and it's basically about the unjust parts of the justice system. People going to jail that shouldn't be in jail, and people that aren't free that should be in jail. That's a lot of. There's a lot of people that should be
how,
in jail right now.
how about the many laws that we have been told, taught, and reminded through our entire lifetime, through our parents' lifetime, that in the last couple of years has been a complete joke?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Our
you know,
country's in chaos.
our former president has been indicted twice, but there has been no mugshot of him. Can I?
He hasn't been handcuffed.
Right,
The guy hasn't even been. He goes. They make an appointment for him to be arrested. Okay, you come in Tuesday between 9 and 3, like the cable company or something like that.
right.
Just show up between 9 and 3. Yeah,
Who
it's
does
good.
that?
Fine. Yeah, mugshot. Nah, don't worry about it. Want to handcuff me? Nah, you're good. What? Wait,
And
hold up. Time out.
and it's those unequal activities that are making a lot of folks, especially young people, rethink their attitudes towards their country.
Yeah, well, this is exactly why politicians are fighting against being woke, is because people are more aware of these things now, and they're either taking a stand or doing something about it, and it's not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? This whole culture war they've started is it's a dead end road. It doesn't end well for anybody. if
Um,
anybody like that gets in there.
I agree. I believe that because again, the definition of woke is just being awakened to your surroundings, to what's going on. Whether it's education, it's finance, it's the economy, it's politics. You are aware of what's going on. So the Supreme Court tore down Roe versus Wade. Those who protested, they are aware that the Supreme Court has tore down Roe versus Wade, and now we are going to scream to the top of our lungs to say we are not happy with that. To me, that is what woke is. Now, why is that wrong? Why is that bad?
Right. That's not bad at all. I mean, protesting and I mean, awareness is, when has awareness ever been a bad thing in your life? I don't understand this whole position on not being woke. But they see, we can define it in a few simple words. You know what I mean? And they can't seem to define it at all. I looked it up on Wikipedia. The definition of woke is on Wikipedia. So yeah, I'm tired of the whole culture war. I'm tired of the hate, the ignorance, the lies. It is just seems like it's never ending right now.
Banning books. I mean, what
Banning,
kind of crap is that? I've never heard of that in my entire life. Banning a poem book because it's written by a black person or about black people. It's sad. It's really, really sad. But my emphasis goes according to the people, to the American people and the constituents. They're the ones that hold the power to change who's in office. And if these people who are making these ridiculous laws are still in office, then hey, people, what the hell is wrong with you?
well, see, I think you're right. It does start with us. We have to start electing the right people to office, but we are up against quite an adversary. Let me show that picture. I mean, when you go up against video or against or news stations that are willing to put this on their news channel, I'm sure you guys can all see it. Let me enlarge that. I mean, that was on Fox News. Fox News plays on military bases. I mean, just you got to think of the ramification. And this isn't a news station, for crying out loud. This is
Wannabe
not.
dictator. No, bring it back. Bring it back.
My bad. Too quick. That's what she said.
Wannabe
Uh,
dictator Biden.
yeah,
Wow.
wannabe dictator speaks at White House after having his political rival arrested. There is so much wrong with that statement
The
that
whole
we.
the whole thing. First of all, we spoke about deflection and whatever some on the right speak about concerning the left is because that's exactly what they're doing. So when I first heard that, I said to myself, first of all, the nerve of them
Yeah,
to call Biden a dictator. Really, there is nothing the dictator of President Biden at all. And then to say after having his rival arrested, Biden has nothing to do with his rival
no,
in every way. He has nothing to do with the court case, the lawsuit. He has nothing to do with Trump's campaign. How is he? But then I quickly came to reality and realized no, these are the talking points that they need to use in order to keep their base's anger at its maximum, right?
this was a former Tucker Carlson producer, so he did get fired for this. His name was, what was his name? Alex McCaskill no longer works at Fox News. Specifically for that reason, he put that. Well, he was the one responsible for that. So at least they got rid of him. I don't know
What
if
does
that
it-
means they have some standards now, or
well, I was going to say, what does that matter? Because they still have 100 other things or people that it's inappropriate as well, and that they need to get rid of as well.
man, I wish these videos would play properly. I put a lot of work into these. The George Santos one is the best.
What and another point just came to mind with talking about Fox News. The other day, excuse me, they were talking about CNN. They were putting CNN down because they're, the CEO resigned or whatever. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Lynch or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
And they were making fun of, oh, there's so much chaos going on over there, and what's going on, and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, you were just fined almost $1 billion, and one or two of your top hosts was fired, and you changed your evening schedule around. What are you talking about?
I
Why
know.
are you
Let me
talking about
see.
CNN?
Let me at least try, because I actually clipped like 4 videos together. Let me at least see if I can try and get the Fox News meltdown to play right. Please play right, please.
Tonight, a bombshell new
Damn
report
it.
from Just the News.
Oh, I hate this when it doesn't work right.
It's okay. It's all
That's all
right.
right. Anyway, Fox News melted down completely after the indictment. I mean, their hosts went absolutely berserk, especially
No,
Mark Levin.
yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't the host; it was more of Mark Levin.
Yeah, he just, I don't know what he was ranting about. Is this a documents case? Blah, blah, blah. Did he sell these documents? No. Well, we don't know that actually. You know, but they haven't learned a damn thing. We talk about this all the time throughout the week. It pisses me off every time I hear Fox News tell another bullshit lie that is so easily debunked.
Right, right.
And they were just fine. But you know what? All these lies generate views. They generate,
Viewership. Yeah,
right,
and
people
they've
tune in
already
to see
admitted
the madness.
that's the most important thing for them, which is the viewership.
I mean, before the 24-hour news stations became a thing, Fox News basically would have been like the National Enquirer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my neighbor got pregnant by an alien kind of thing. Like, that's the kind of stuff they would have produced back in the 80s. That's what I think of Fox News. They don't do anything legit. Like, well, wait, time out. Let me go back. I will give credit to whoever I forget his name, the host who did the last town hall with the annoying orange. He ripped him apart. Man, he crushed him.
You
He
mean
looked like an idiot.
the Chris Christie interview?
No, the last interview they just did with Trump. See, made me say his name on air again.
Oh,
If you haven't seen that,
I haven't seen it yet. Oh, the interview with Brett Breyer.
Yes, I believe that's it. Yes,
I haven't
and
seen it yet, but yeah, I heard.
this
I was
wasn't your
actually a little
normal town hall. Trump, I think, was expecting some softball hits, and man, he got kicked in the nuts.
I heard, and I was a little bit shocked because Brett has been known to dive into these conspiratorial
yeah.
stories and push them. So I was a little bit shocked at that.
Yeah, I was impressed actually. I couldn't believe that was out of Fox News, but I still feel like they just don't care because they're still making money. Obviously, the 787 wasn't enough to put them out of business. You know what I mean? So they know that their ridiculous stories, whether they're real or not, generates traffic.
Right.
And that's all they care about, keeping their views up. And
And
they are a popular network. I mean,
I think also there's so much overwhelming evidence against him in this indictment. It's really hard to defend that. They're trying and they're doing it with the nonsense that's coming out of their mouths, but it's really hard to defend that because all it's doing is ruining their credibility. So anyone who stands up to it is smart because they don't want this one day will go away, we hope. But your credibility will remain whatever you make it out to be. So, are you fighting for someone that there is obvious proof that is breaking the law left and right?
I mean,
And when
really.
that person is and when that person is no longer around, but you still are, no one's going to care what you have to say because you already insulted everybody's intelligence
Hmm.
um, in defending what the crazy person was saying and doing.
They keep doubling down. They're like I said, they're like bad gamblers at a casino. Like every time they get an indictment or photographic evidence or a recording, instead of pulling out and going home with the remaining money, they're like, nope, next one. Boop. And then they lose again. But apparently they haven't learned their lesson. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they care. I think this is how they want their network to be. Just propaganda, made up stuff, just to keep people it's like an entertainment network. People should not take anything that Fox News says seriously. I mean, it's more like news entertainment than it is actual reporting. There's
Well,
no journalistic integrity.
I just want to say publicly, I used to watch Fox News all the time, all the channels, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. I wanted to hear everybody's point of view, and I still do today. I still watch Fox News, but not as much as I used to before. Bill O'Reilly, he was something else, but it was different. It was different. Hannity and Combs. I loved that show. Hannity and Combs. It was totally different than the atmosphere that is on Fox right now,
I
to
mean,
where you're just disgusted of everything that you hear.
they're not even reporting actual news though. They're reporting uncorroborated stories from third parties. Like I heard from a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. Like the latest one. All right, we'll just talk about it since their videos aren't working. James Comer goes on Fox News. We have a whistleblower that has audio recordings and even knows how many 17, specifically 17 audio recordings of President Biden doing wrong, taking bribes or whatever. And then they ask him, well, where is he? Oh, well, we haven't seen him publicly in 3 years. I mean, why would you even put that on the news? You're going to look like a total idiot. Like, first, you're dropping a bombshell.
Yeah.
We have irrefutable evidence. Kind of, not really, but we might next week have something. Not kind of. I don't know. I'm done with those guys.
But I see the country is slowly catching on. They're
They are.
catching on slowly, but they're catching on to the Republican uh, um, 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 uh, method of, if we don't have any real proof or evidence on something, just make it up and let's just string it along.
I
I
just
think I
not.
read somewhere somebody had said they don't need proof. They just need to say it. They just need to talk about what it could
Mhm.
possibly be. And that's enough to get a certain amount of people around the nation to believe in what they're saying. And
And this,
it might be good politically. It's wrong in
but
every
th-
other
this
aspect. It's wrong.
this is how this is how propaganda, like real propaganda, works. Even if it's not true, if you say it enough and people hear it enough times and they don't double check it, which are most people, I think in one of my videos I can prove most people don't double check anything. They just go with what they're told. um yeah, that's a real threat. I mean, there's a serious level of, I don't want to say ignorance because that's kind of there is though. People don't double check anything anymore, and they know this. They know this, and all they got to do is keep saying it. I mean, how many times have we heard these people say the exact same thing over and over and over again, knowing it's not true?
Right. No, I think ignorance best fits it because they know that it's not true, but they want it to be true so bad. And so if they just keep saying it, just keep thinking it, then maybe it'll come true. And I also believe that that is what Trump was trying to manufacture with these election fraud conspiracies as well. That
Hmm.
if he just said it enough times, the world would believe it.
I
And
mean,
in some factions, it could be true, but this is the modern age of social media. You can say things a million times. If there's proof that it's not true and it's put on social media, and then that's being said a million times too, it's going to counteract your lie.
Well, here, all right. So I did the video I did for your channel about the PBS video I did. I'll just bring that up.
Yeah.
These are people that voted for Trump twice, and all of them, when asked if you thought the 2020 election was stolen, every single one of them said yes, regardless of the 60 cases that were thrown out, regardless of the case against Dominion, where Dominion proved that Fox News was lying about the election fraud. People still believe it. That, like I said, Trump says it every time he's interviewed. The election was stolen. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. The election was stolen.
I was watching a clip one day a while ago, and the gentleman said, if Trump said it, then it's got to be true. I almost choked.
I know, but that's what we're up against. It is a whole different level. We're in a whole new ball game on this one, man. We have I mean, we're talking like 50 to 75 million people in a country. That's like 25% of our population that believe this stuff. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a scary amount of people that believe this stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Our last topic, Mr. George Santos.
Why can't this video play? I'm gonna try it anyway. Can I try it? Because the mic drop is the best part.
Let's do it.
Preserve the integrity of the U.S. House of Representatives and censure Adam Schiff today.
Well, that totally didn't work at all.
George Santos claims that integrity amongst the House representatives must be preserved. I'm done. I'm completely done. Really?
The best part, yeah. Wow. First of all, yeah. Why would he even say that? And second of all, I mean, he said it was such. If you watch the actual video, after he gets done talking, he does this like mic. He has this mic drop moment. Oh my God, it is utterly hilarious. I'm trying to find it right now. See if it'll play.
Preserve the integrity of the U.S. House of Representatives and censure Adam Schiff today.
Damn it. I don't know what's going on with these videos.
He says it with such a straight face. I mean,
I know. And he has his pen, and when he's done, he throws his pen on his desk. I started bawling.
He really believes what he is saying. It is incredible.
I had to watch it like 3 times. I laughed every single time because he is serious. Yeah. Like he seriously throws his pen down. Like he just told his closing joke and walked off stage. Yeah. You know what I mean? How could somebody even, why would the word integrity even come out of your mouth? Like anybody's going to
Why would it even come out of your mouth? Well, but
yeah, it got turned down.
Listen, he's following from a play from the book of his mentor, Mr. Trump.
Yeah, Santos has got his own problems. If they start really, because they are talking about releasing the names of the people that posted his bail. They're not happy about that. So we get to see who possibly is in cahoots with Mr. George Santos. He shouldn't even be in Congress. I mean, if you get arrested while serving in Congress, that should be an immediate disqualifier.
Again, one of those rules or laws that people are looking at and saying, how could that be happening? Okay, you want me to be proud of my country. How could you let that happen? This man defrauded himself all the way up to the Capitol, and he's still there. How could you let that happen? If one of us lied to our employer, we are done for.
I mean, think about this. That man lied about his entire resume, his entire life, and got into Congress. And a man coming out of jail for maybe a theft charge will never find a decent paying job, at least not for a very long time. I know a lot of people that have, charges, stupid stuff like, drug charges or like nonviolent stuff. Man, I watched those guys go through hell.
It almost ruins the rest of their life. Yes.
Yeah, even misdemeanors, If it's something stupid that pops up on your record, they will immediately turn you down for the job.
So the question is, with all of these thousands of laws, not one of those laws, touches on what any of them are doing.
Apparently not.
Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. There
Oh.
is no law that says you cannot be a congresswoman and lie day after day after day after day and browbeat your fellow congressman. I mean, listen. To each their own. If there are those who feel like that their country is not doing anything for them, I don't feel we are in the position to tell them that they are wrong. That is their feeling, and that's how they feel. What the country needs to do is to work better on equality, on what's good for you is good for me. What's going to happen to me should happen to you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're making laws that take away freedom, and we're supposed to be the country that represents freedom. Our democracy is being tested. Look, this is a test. Our democracy has to be tested every once in a while. And I know it's hard to see now, but people will see that this will, if we put the right people in power, this will in the end make us a stronger country. If we elect the right people. If we put the wrong people in power, there is no more democracy.
Right.
It's gone.
Right. And I'm sure that Mr. Santos will be given more speeches such as this, because again, deflection. So they've got to point out things on the other side, even if it makes no sense, to get you talking about them one way or another, but to keep out of their own business.
Well, he got shot down anyway. It was about Adam Schiff. Just because Adam Schiff says nasty things about Donald Trump. That's the only reason they did it, because he said stuff about Trump. It's like high school, or not even high school. It's like middle school.
Yeah.
Oh, he said this. I'm gonna start a rumor and I'm gonna do this. It's like, what? Come on, this is like the highest level of government, and they're acting like petulant teenagers. It's aggravating to no end. I can do a better job, and I've never even been in government.
Okay. All right. That brings us this week's Weekend in Review to a conclusion. Another week in review of the happenings and the current events going on around our country. Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome. Good to be here. I love doing this show.
And the audience loves having you. We've gotten several messages in regards to your input to the Esteban Hour.
Who's that crazy white guy on your show?
No, that on the contrary, that is not what they say.
Oh, okay.
Many feel that you are very educated, and
That's a new one.
They love to hear what you have to say, your point of view. You're passionate on where you stand.
That is nice to hear. You know what? That is nice to hear, because usually my mouth is what gets me in trouble. So I'm actually being able to put it to good use. That sounded perverted, by the way.
I mean,
but that didn't mean...
You're right. Your mouth is still getting in trouble.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously. I've learned, though. I'm learning quickly. I'm taking a crash course and all this stuff. But man,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it there. Any if you have any questions or comments that you have in regards to this show, or any other show, you can go on the Esteban Hour on any of the social media platforms and leave that question or that comment for us. We'll be back next Monday for the next week in review. Again, I'd like to say happy belated Father's Day to all of the awesome fathers around the country and around the world. And also that everyone had a chance to reflect on what Juneteenth really means for them, and for African Americans as a whole. I will be coming out with a little clip in regards to Juneteenth, the national holiday, that will be dropping a little bit later today. So stay tuned for that. If you woke up today, it's a great day. Never forget that. Okay. And if you have an accomplishment or a goal that you've achieved today, don't forget to say to yourself, this is how you do it.